The Ford versus Holden rivalry era came to an end with the final 2012 Aussie V8 Supercars races. 20-some years of brand banging makes for a stout rivalry in Aussie V8s. In truth, Ford versus Holden will be back next year, but they're going to be joined by Nissan and Mercedes. So the rivalry remains, it just may not be so head-to-head pure as before. And it got me thinking about some other great racing rivalries. So I'll share a few, but really, just to spark your thinking, so together we can create the world's best shakedown list of top racing rivalries. We'll do that in the comments below. And I'll share some racing news. All of that when we come back. The Ford-Holden V8 Supercar rivalry goes back more than a few years. Actually, Australian touring car racing first got organized in 1960. That's my understanding. And the Ford-Holden brands were in it from the start. Well, despite all the Jaguars in the front here. The racing ran through various series iterations until 1997. And that was the launch year for the V8 Supercar series that we now know. And it begot 5-liter V8s plugged into the most popular cars in the country, the Ford Falcon and the Holden Commodore. And those two cars became the foundation for the appeal that is Aussie V8 Supercars. The final races in Sydney this past weekend had Holden winning another championship and Ford winning the final race. Holden has the lead with the most series championships, most overall race wins, podiums, pole positions, and fastest laps. But that doesn't mean the rivalry wasn't real. And now, 2013 sees the start of the car of the future era in V8 Supercars for cost controls, but really better race cars. They're safer, and no more NASCAR-like live rear axles. A proper independent rear suspension gets the nod. Now Nissan and Mercedes gave their corporate nod to race V8 Supercar series in 2013, and the cars that are emerging look great. And the engines do too. But the point of today's show is rivalry. So let's start building that list of teams, racers, manufacturers. These are the top ones that stick in my mind. Then you build from here. So I got to start with the obvious, Senna versus Prost. It was so intense, all I need to do is show you this picture. And right here, let's drop in Fettle versus Alonso. Say what you want about the talent versus car tech, a master politician versus a whiny kid, whatever. These guys are the rivalry of F1 now and for the next few years. And in 2013, I think it's only going to get better. Rivalry? How about the Porsche versus Llama rivalry? Now, no brand has won the 24-hour race as many times as Porsche overall, not to mention their GT victories. Now, from the early 908 Longtail days to the impending 2014 P1 car, whatever it's going to look like, Llama has driven Porsche. The Llama 24 is part of the World Endurance Championship, so step one in the Porsche plan is the announcement of a factory-backed two-car GTE effort for the new 991 Porsche Rsr Race Car with Mante Racing, the team we saw at the Nürburgring 24 that's won something like 5 of the last 7 rounds of the around-the-clock race. So here is the 991 GTE car. The side, the front, the back. By the way, a Porsche factory team is a big deal, and the WEC gig may have cost the American Flying Lizards team, these guys, their Porsche factory support, as Porsche announced no more support for the Lizards as the new car was not going to be developed in the US. And it also cost us the Lizards versus Corvette racing rivalry in GT, as Flying Lizards is going GTC racing in the 2013 American Le Mans Series. And speaking of new cars, here's what the BMW Z4 GTE race car for the American Le Mans Series will look like, as that news was finally officially announced. And is this the continuation of another rivalry, BMW versus the ALMS rules makers? Now, Leo, that's just not nice. Back to the real rivalries list. How about Ganassi versus Penske in NASCAR, IndyCar, the Indy 500. And if you listen to them both, they each want to win the Le Mans 24. Now, I'd not be shocked if Porsche gets in the middle of that rivalry for that win. Next, back at Le Mans, Ford versus Ferrari. Now, you all know the rivalry stories here. And if not, stop watching videos about 1,000 horsepower Lambos, because that's not racing, and study up. The simple version is this. With Le Mans, both Ford and Ferrari started out just wanting to showcase their tech to sell more road cars. Then ego, arrogance, hubris kicked in, and the rivalry was on. Reality and budget limits took a vacation, and the racing history became the better for it. Sticking with Le Mans, how about Audi versus Peugeot? They both pushed each other and gave us some great races. But with Pug gone, is it now Audi versus Toyota? Or maybe I have to wait for the Praga rivalry. What? Praga. Check the link below and Google away. NASCAR cannot be ignored when it comes to rivalry. Ford versus Chevy really does drive the series, despite the best efforts of NASCAR to screw it up with the Car of Tomorrow debacle years. But now for 2013, we have new cars, looking more real, but still not like the V8 Supercars from Australia. And I'm calling BS on Chevy when they announced their SS race car. Oh true, their NASCAR is the only one based on a real rear-drive production car, unlike Ford and Toyota. But they made some comments about how they learned from racing to make the road chassis better. NASCAR still has a live rear axle, and the SS is really a Holden Commodore with an IRS, or WTF, because I always get the acronyms wrong. And the production SS is a four-door. Or am I missing something here, Chevy? The other rivalry that caught my attention in NASCAR was Dale Earnhardt Sr. versus everyone. He was the ultimate "F you boys, this is my race" racer. Corvette Racing may have the tagline "Take no prisoners" to define its style, but Dale Sr. would take a leg, a lung, whatever, to get the next pass, let alone the win. And the guy watched F1 in his motor coach and raced Corvette in GT. Was going to start his own Corvette GT team. Okay, that should start you out as a list of best rivalries. The list may be a bit too American, but that's where you come in. Add your favorite best rivalries from racing, like WRC, Colin McRae versus who? Or MotoGP, Rossi or Agostini versus their rivals. Even drifting, Gittin Jr. versus who? So park the BS comments about how much you can't stand my style, that you only watch Chris Harris, blah, blah, freaking blah, and show everyone that you know something other than how to be a YouTube troll sitting in your underwear sucking down a Red Bull. Yeah, I'm calling you guys out to think or Google some facts and work with me to add to the rivalries list so together we can create our own Shakedown wiki of the world's greatest racing rivalries right here in the comments section below. Thanks.